So our third awakening, in a sense, is by inviting in and through the name of Christ their help and strengthening. And Flower is very clear on that. Always go to God and Christ before the angels. And when we do, they can come at great times of need, for protection, or for strengthening beyond ourselves. And so our next experience is going to be an example of when we can do just that.
One of the most impactful experiences I've ever had with angels happened back in the spring of 2014. It was during the fires that really encircled and enraged all of the Harmony Grove, San Elijo area. And I was working at the police department at the time, living in Carmel Valley. And the news was not good. I was hearing all day long about all the evacuations. San Elijo was all completely evacuated. I was at home after work watching the news, and it was just some horrible images of how the fire seemed to be raging out of control. And I became very, very concerned. For Questhaven, it was hard to try to get some good information about what exactly was really going on or how close the fire might be. So I took a moment, tried to go within to pray, to try to hold this image of light around Questhaven, a tent of light that would protect it from any encroaching fires. And as I was trying to envision that, it was really very unclear, and it was hard for me to picture that, which is unusual. And as I was trying harder and harder to really try to envision light protecting Questhaven, all of a sudden I got this image, which was absolute crystal clear, and it was of three angels. And three angels were behind the hill, directly behind the church, behind the altar's colored glass windows. And these were three extremely tall angels, and they were part of their bodies were below the hill, and most of it was way above. It's hard to say how far, but probably almost half the size of the hill above was that. So they were very, very, very tall, bright colors. I could see three distinct forms. And the back of the angels was towards the church. They were looking away out from eastward from the church. And I had this image very, very distinctly, and that they were there protecting the church. And I felt a little bit better, but still the fire raged all night. And when I got up in the morning, I heard on the news that a spiritual community had been damaged by the fire. So I knew everything was still all evacuated. I wouldn't be able to come here and check. I figured probably all of the residents were evacuated as well here at Questhaven. So put on my police uniform in the police car because I knew that could get me through all the checkpoints. And I drove out here first thing in the morning, and I met Blake. And we came up to the labyrinth. Thank goodness Questhaven had been spared. Unfortunately, the spiritual community in Harmony Grove was damaged, and that's what the news had been talking about. But I was explaining to Blake the story, and we were up here and we were looking at the hill, and I was telling him this is what I saw. And I had no idea where the fire was coming from, how it was approaching, or where it even was at. But he confirmed with me that late afternoon, the fire was coming up that hill, which if it just came up, come down the back side, and there's the church. And as the fire came up, it then took a turn with the wind changed, and it ended up going more to the south, which spared Questhaven. So that was just a beautiful confirmation to me of the reality of the angels and of the vast help that we have when we're in such great need. It was truly a blessing.
I think we can all think back to times when we've needed angels beyond. There's nothing we can do as people to stop. And our world is full of things even today that we can look at, certainly the fires that are raging up north and other things that are challenged. And Flower has this wonderful quote that I think awakens us to how the angels can help us face the darkness that is ultimately coming at such times. She says, only superior wisdom, guidance, and power can lead us through world crises. Such help can best come forth through angelic agencies that are trained not only to combat evil, but to purify it. Consciously placing our planetary affairs within the keeping of God's pure ministering agents will be the means by which our humanity will be enabled to dispel the clouds of ignorance and evil, to make way for the entrance of light, harmony, brotherhood, and progress.